Right now? Or?
I was just talking to my sister, but she's not there. I was sending her a message.
Okay. So,
You're Dr. Skinner?
Dr. Skinner, yeah. So what,
Which, are you just part of the team? Are you a specialist, or?
I'm one of the ICU doctors.
Okay.
Yeah, so, myself and Dr. Smith are the team that's taking care of her today. So, what questions do you have?
When can I take her home?
Well,
Sorry,
yeah, she's very sick right now, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, you know, she's having a lot of issues with oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, and her blood is really acidic as a consequence of too much carbon dioxide. So that's why, you know, her blood is really acidic. So that's why we basically had to start the dialysis to kind of help try to, you know, clear the acid from the blood.
Because her kidneys shut down because
her kidneys and
they were drying out.
Yeah, her kidneys are part of it, and also just the fact that it's hard to. Her lungs are just not functioning very well either, so it's hard to get to exchange the gas in the lungs.
Would you like this cloth under the sheet?
Just leave that for now. I'll take it when I go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. She's just in a little cooler.
Ooh, are these right out of the dryer?
I know, there's a blanket warmer.
We have a warmer there.
It's just really a little cooler because, you know, a decent amount of her blood's being pulled out of her
What
body
happened to the
into
back
here.
of her head?
Huh?
What happened to the back of her head? It looks real bloody.
Oh, probably from when they placed this line. She had to lay flat, so any bleeding from the line would go back.
Run back there.
Yeah, I'll get that cleaned up though.
Yeah, one of the big issues has been trying to turn her to do some of the care has caused her oxygen levels to kind of drop. So
She fights every time they move her.
Yeah, so we have to be very careful. She's on the razor's edge, I should say, you know, in terms of how she's doing right now.
You're gonna cook her.
She's still super sick, you know what I mean?
I know.
She's pretty much maximized on the vents. Even almost beyond maximizing because, you know, the pressures in there.
100%.
The pressures in there are almost unsafe. You know, when you have pressures that high, it can cause damage to the lungs. But there's no other way we can keep her oxygen levels there. She's on 100% oxygen, very high pressures. You can see her oxygen levels up here are only 88%, even with all this maximum support. This morning when I came in, her oxygen was 70%. Despite all of this, so we made some changes to try to squeeze out every bit of oxygen we could, and that's kind of where we are right now. The best we've gotten all day is 88%. The other things that we're doing for her is she's on antibiotics kind of empirically in case there's any kind of bacterial infection that we're not sure is there
Does
or
she-
not, but
Does she not have sepsis?
she has sepsis, but sometimes that can come just from COVID, and the question would be, does she have any kind of other infection on top of that too?
Pneumonia?
Yeah, well, COVID is a pneumonia too, but it's sometimes you get like a bacterial pneumonia on top of it.
Does she not have the bacterial pneumonia then?
We don't know for sure. We're testing her for that, but we're treating her as if she does, because her oxygen is so low, it's kind of like a Hail Mary. So we're treating her with a blood thinner, and we're treating her with antibiotics to help kind of, you know, with her, like I said, with her oxygen being so tenuous. And she's on some life support to help keep her blood pressures up as well. Some IV medication to help support the blood pressure. So like I said, she is very sick. She's probably the sickest person in this part of the hospital for sure, in terms of her oxygen levels and things like that. question I have for you, I know she's really young and but she's super sick. The question I have is, if she gets worse, and her heart stops or something like that, should we, do CPR and press on her chest and all those kind of things, knowing that, her oxygen levels are so low and there's not much benefit that would actually give us, I think. I know that's a big question. But, if her heart were to stop, I don't think any amount of CPR would do anything for her. You know what I mean? Because we wouldn't be able to bring her oxygen levels up regardless. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just bringing it.
Are you suggesting that if her heart should stop, you let her die?
I'm just bringing up the possibility that if that happens.
Should she maybe be removed to another hospital?
That's not what I'm suggesting, no. What I'm saying is, if we did do CPR, if her heart did stop, what I'm saying is, the chance of her coming back would be very, very, very low.
I understand.
And it may just cause pain and suffering, knowing that she may not survive.
I understood what you said, and so then I asked, should she be removed to another hospital?
For what purpose?
I don't know, maybe there would be a different hospital that would be better for her.
I think where she is now, I mean, of course that's entirely up to you. She's definitely too unstable to transfer anywhere. And I don't know that any other hospital would do anything differently.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we would be giving up on her or anything. I'm just bringing up the possibility as just the reality of the situation. It's just that she's so sick that, we know that if in patients that are this sick, doing CPR and things like that can often just add insult to injury. You know what I mean? Break ribs and cause a lot of pain, knowing that it's basically futile. And like I said, I'm not. You don't have to make that choice right now. I'm just bringing it up as a just to put it on your radar that may be, if that happens, we're not going to be in a very good place. That's all.
The concern is, so when our patients get sick, we do CPR, we bring them back, and there's meds that we add to help support them past that. She's already on those medications. So there isn't anything
She's
else.
30.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And that's why we're kind of bringing this up now, because, again, we do CPR, we bring patients back, and then there's support and medications and things that we will add to help keep them away from that. But without her heart ever stopping, she's already on those medications. So we would do CPR and we would bring her back, but we wouldn't have anything to support.
Are you saying that you don't see her getting any better?
That's very difficult to say. COVID is very unpredictable. Some people, they just get a sore throat, have no symptoms at all. Some people, they get severe,
I'm talking about this people.
She is, I wish I could tell you if I got a crystal ball. I don't know the answer to that. It's definitely possible that she'll get worse. It's possible that she'll get better. She's still kind of relatively early in the COVID, course of things. And sometimes they get worse before they get better.
I'm sorry, but I can't say DNR her.
I understand, and you don't have to. We don't have to do that. I'm just saying, in my experience, and I've seen a lot of COVID over the past 2 years. When we have people that are this sick, and when that happens, when their heart stops, their chance of coming back is basically zero. And that's what most of the studies and literature tell us, is when they're that sick, CPR is basically futile. We'll still do it because we'll honor your wishes, but I'm just, like I said, I'm just throwing that out there that sometimes it's better to let somebody pass comfortably. That's all I'm saying, without chest compressions and broken ribs and a lot of pain and things like that. That's all. Just throwing that out there as something to think about. That's all. I know she's really young, and I wouldn't want to have to make that decision either. It's really a tragedy that she's so young and that this has happened.
You foresee this happening?
When I came
You're expecting it.
When I came in the room this morning, I was expecting it. Her oxygen level was 70%. her pH was unsafe low, and we haven't made much improvement with that all day. When your blood is that acidic, it affects the heart, and it makes the heart weak, and it gives the heart sort of dysfunction. We're trying our best with this dialysis to help clear the blood, and we're trying our best with the breathing machine. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm just saying, just so that if it happens at 2 a.m. or something, we're all on the same page. That's the only reason I bring it up, in case she does get worse again. In the meantime, we'll do everything in our power to keep her alive and bring her back. If her heart does stop, we'll still try everything. I'm just saying that, just so that you're aware, in case things do turn south. That's all I'm trying to say. It's just so that you know kind of where we are. She has gotten better since this morning, I can say that. Her oxygen is no longer 70%, but as you can see, it's 87% up there right now. That's pretty much as low as we can kind of tolerate it being for prolonged periods of time. And it may be that she does have some...
As low as you can tolerate it being for prolonged periods of time.
Yeah, normally, like you and I right now would be 100%. The normal person's range should be in the 90s. 80, less than 90, less than 88% is kind of where you start to get issues with low oxygen. The body starts to react and have issues with low oxygen levels. So, like I said, I know that's a lot to process. I know we're still very early in the way things are going. She does look better now than she did this morning.
She looks better than she did yesterday.
Yeah, so we've tried to kind of tweak everything as best we can.
I mean, physically, her face looks better. She was so purple yesterday.
I wasn't here yesterday, but I heard about that. So yeah, I know, like I said, I know that's a lot to process. For now, we're still doing everything, as I said. We're treating her with antibiotics. We're giving her the dialysis to help clean her blood. And just buying some time. We're giving her the antibiotics to treat her for the possibility of a pneumonia on top of the COVID. And we just have to see if she'll turn around.
She will turn around. She will turn around.
The fact that she's so young is something that's at least in her favor. Younger people tend to do better, but I've seen 30-year-olds in her situation that have not turned around. So it's really difficult to say.
She will turn around.
So yeah, I just wanted to be honest with you in terms of where we are.
I appreciate the honesty. She will turn around. She's got to turn around. I do appreciate the honesty. But I can't say DNR my daughter who's 30.
I understand. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't want to. I'm not necessarily recommending that. I'm just bringing it up as if we have to do CPR or something like that. I just don't see it going well. It's usually not a very pretty situation. And it breaks a lot of ribs. If you can imagine me pressing on her chest with my whole body weight, it causes a lot of damage. And so it's just, in my experience, when it gets to that point in COVID, it's just not a pleasant thing for anyone. For the people doing it and for the person getting it. We break a lot of ribs, we cause a lot of pain and damage. I don't think that's a very pleasant way to leave the world. You know what I mean? So sometimes just knowing that, we may have reached the end. I'm not saying we're there yet. I'm just saying sometimes knowing that we've reached the end and that there's not much more we can do, making somebody comfortable is a much
Are you
more...
trying to convince me to DNR?
I'm not trying to convince you.
Because I'm confused here.
He's not convincing you. She's just sick enough to the point where this is a conversation that we have to start bringing up.
Yeah.
No one's trying to convince
But
you.
I've said a few times now that I can't say
and
DNR
I'm
my
just-
30-year-old daughter, and you keep.
I'm just explaining the rationale of why I'm even bringing this up.
I understand.
And I'm trying to explain to you that, if we have to do it, it's just gonna, it's like I said, it's going to cause a lot of pain and suffering. That's all my point is. Sometimes.
But if you have to do it, there's a chance that she won't die.
True, but it would be very small.
Maybe it won't be you doing it.
Well, anybody that does it properly.
Maybe it won't.
Everybody that should be doing it.
Maybe it'll be a little person doing it, and it won't
Well,
hurt her so bad.
I get your point, and don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to force you into anything. I'm not trying to force your hand and make you decide something. And she's 30 years old. I understand that you don't want to do that. I'm just saying, like I said, if it comes to that, it's sometimes it's just not a very pretty situation. It's not a very.
She said to me before we intubated her with the ventilator, I do not want to die. She said it several times.
Yeah. But.
So how can I make this decision that you seem to want me to make?
I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to force you to make any decision. I'm just trying to be real with you. If her heart stops, it's like a 99.9% chance she won't come back, and will just cause a lot of pain and suffering and break ribs. On top of that.
And you expect her heart to stop?
I don't expect it to, but I'm saying if it does, I don't know that it's going to happen or not. It hasn't happened yet. She's turned around since this morning. My point is just so that, 2 a.m. comes around, you and I are both not here. The night team is here, and we just need to be on the same page, that's all. In case something does happen. That's my point.
Okay.
And I'm just, like I said, I'm just bringing it up so that we all know what's the reality of the situation.
Okay.
Right, as of now, she's full code and we'll do everything for her.
Okay.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just being honest.
Okay. We'll keep it like that.
Sure.
I will discuss this with other family members, and if anything should change, I'll let you know. But
Sure.
for now, I have to keep it like that.
Of course, I understand.
I have to believe she's going to turn this around
We want her to turn around too.
and come out of
I
this.
would love for her to turn around. I mean, she's so young. It's a real shame that we are where we are. We're hoping that she'll turn around.
We've got an army of people praying for her.
That pastor that was in here, is that from her church? The man who's in here, the pastor?
He's someone that I called to come in. He's actually a youth pastor,
Uh-huh.
but I asked him to come in and pray with her.
And that's what they call it, like the prayer cloth.
Uh-huh.
And you're okay that I covered it with the blankets, just as long as I don't lose it, or you're gonna take it with
I'm going to take it with me
Okay.
when I go.
Okay. I just would hate to leave something like that.
Yeah. He wanted to have it under her pillow. I said, she doesn't use a pillow. He said, well, put it under her mattress. I said, well, she's got this weird air mattress, and I don't think that'll work. And I said, I'll just take it with me, and I'll bring it back every time when I come in.
Yeah.
I'm not a real churchy person, but this kind of thing kind of tends to make you seek God, So she was always in church all her life up until she became an adult. When she the last 10 years or so, she's kind of moved away from it.
I think that tends to happen with young adults. So they almost feel like you're a lot of times kind of like actively like part of a group, like you're a choir member or just something like that. I think that tends to happen for a bit. I'm a cancer and a choir member of my church, and I haven't done it for the last 2 years because of all of this. I didn't feel comfortable, knowing where I work and then going there to potentially, expose everyone. And It's been real sad because I miss it.
Well, you protect yourself. There's no reason why you couldn't
Yeah, I
go.
protect myself, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know.
People look at you like
I
sideways.
just don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable because they all know what I do, so I just watch online. It's not the same, but at least it's an option.
A lot of people attend online now, it seems like.
Hopefully they'll stick some money into ours. Ours was